Hello, and welcome to the Franchise Life. I am your host, Stacie Shannon. Today, I am so excited to introduce a brand new franchise concept called Candy Cloud. Candy Cloud is a quick service beverage shop with over 19 core beverages. And with me today, I have the co-founder, Alex Edwards, who he and his wife, Paityn, originated this concept out of Rockford, Illinois. Welcome, Alex.
Hi, Stacie. I'm super happy to be here.
Yeah, my pleasure. So I have been asked over and over by prospects in the past probably 3 years about coffee shops, and there's a lot of interest. We know that it's a big thing. Everybody has heard the name Starbucks and so forth, but there really hasn't been a coffee shop necessarily or a beverage shop that has stood out, especially in the franchise space. So when I ran across Candy Cloud, I got super excited because this is a concept that is bringing new, exciting beverages to meet almost anybody's needs. So congratulations
Yeah,
on,
thank you.
yeah, absolutely.
It's
So
kind of weird that something, so popular, right? There's only a few options out there, and that's something that we knew and were curious as to why that was. And I still really guess I don't have that answer. Maybe, God was just waiting for us to start Candy Cloud and leave a lane for us, right? But you got to have a differentiator, right? So that's one of the things that we are aware of is the coffee, the beverage industry in general, the bubble tea industry especially. It's growing huge across America. Been around for a while, but now it's just getting big. And we know that no one's really taken that concept and really made it amazing yet. Like there's a few concepts, and they're doing good, but we know that we're taking it into a whole different level. Right.
Absolutely. And I want to say at an affordable investment level also, which we'll get into in a little bit. But before we dive into the Candy Cloud concept, I mean, you are a co-founder. I love hearing co-founder stories. So do you mind sharing a little bit about your background and how Candy Cloud originated?
Yeah, so a little bit about myself and where kind of all this started. I grew up all over, right? My dad was in the military, moved around maybe every 2 to 3 years, right? So spent a lot of my time overseas, growing up, Guam, Japan, Hawaii. And of course, I tried all the different drinks there. Boba was huge there growing up. I remember when I was very young in Guam, boba was big there. Hawaii was enormous. And it's been, like I said, slowly creeping over, but that's where a lot of that love for drinks kind of started, right? Those different cultures and all those different items. So I grew up a little bit all over, right? When I turned 18, I decided to follow my father's footsteps and join the military as well, as an active duty firefighter. I did that for 5 years, and then I transferred to the Guard and moved back here to Rockford, Illinois, where my parents live and my wife's family as well. And then I was an active duty firefighter or not active duty, but a city firefighter for Rockford for 5 years as well. And entrepreneurship was always my end goal, though, right? So while I was doing the firefighter job, me and my wife were always trying to think of ideas. And we eventually landed on very different, but started a flower truck. We would grow flowers and sell them at farmers markets. And it was a great learning experience, but we never made any money. We'd always sit at these markets and count our money up. And we'd look at it like, well, we broke even. And but while we were doing these farmers markets, we would look at all these different vendors and all this, and we would notice how busy the food was. And we saw the potential in the food industry, the low investment to get into it. So me and my wife were brainstorming ideas, and she came across doing a freshly spun cotton candy stand. So her idea was we would spin cotton candy at these farmers markets, hand it to them on the stick and all that. And I thought she was a little crazy, but eventually she she convinced me, and we decided to go all in on it, and we called it Candy Cloud. And that's where the name originated, right? So we started going to these farmers markets, saw some success, started actually making money. And I thought this could be my ticket, right? I've been trying to think for, since I was probably 16 years old, how I would do this. And I feel like, okay, it's very different. It's not exactly what I envisioned. I was trying to think of like gym ideas, all this other stuff, but I knew it was something that we could take, right? So I decided to move it into a food truck. We serve cotton candy and Hawaiian shave ice. Grew up eating Hawaiian shave ice in Hawaii as well. So I wanted to have another option outside of the cotton candy. And we were doing that in 2020. So I renovated this truck, made it all work. Decided to take a huge leap of faith in 2020 when COVID was running rampant, of course, and quit my full-time job as a firefighter and do the food truck full-time. A lot of people thought I was crazy, during COVID, especially, leaving your job to rely on something that functions off of large gatherings, such as a food truck. But it went really well. And later on towards the year, we knew we wanted to add drinks, and I came across the cans, and I knew it was the perfect vessel. And I decided, okay, we're going to do this. We came up with 3 core menu items for the drinks: the latte, the strawberry lemonade, and our horchata. And funny enough, to this day, still our top sold items, right? And we brought them to the food truck in 2021. Saw a lot of success with that, and quickly became our mainly sold item. Like everything else kind of fell to the wayside, and that was it. We'd sell out of that lemonade and horchata and all that. And we knew we had something special, right? And we wanted to jump on it, right? So we decided to find a store. We actually found a store in Rockford that was a failed boba shop before us. So kind of crazy again, right? But we knew that we could do things different. We can advertise better. Our product is going to be great. We're going to lean into some things that we know our target demographic is going to like, right? Such as self-ordering kiosks and quick service, technology based, all of that, right? And feel a certain aesthetic when they walk in the store as well. So March 5th of 2022, we launched the store, and we knew that we wanted to expand right away too, while we were building the store, because we knew we had something special here, right? And franchising is what we knew we wanted to do. And we knew that would lend us to be able to grow quickly, but also have people running these stores that truly care about it, right? Rather than putting GMs across the country that are just salary based, we wanted people that truly care about their location. They own it, and they can really pay attention to detail, just like we would, right? So yeah, and then we hired iFranchise Group to help us out with that, and launched the franchise program in late 2022.
And so I'm from the Midwest also, neighboring Cedar Rapids, Iowa. You're in Rockford, Illinois. I'd say about an hour and a half away. I know from personal experience, it's not easy to bring a new concept into really that Midwest region, especially something as unknown as this and special. I mean, many times there's an immediate attraction, right? It's a new concept, people flood there, but you guys have done phenomenal. I mean, number one, your branding is on spot. So for those listening, the website is candycloudcompany.com. You can go and check out the cans, which are, they're ingenious. It's beautiful. I mean, the product is absolutely beautiful, but more importantly, in your franchise disclosure document, and I usually don't lead with this, but given this is a new brand, your franchise disclosure document, the item 19 that shows financial representations, you show 1.6 million in gross revenue with a $400,000 net profit. That is phenomenal. I mean,
Thank you.
just absolutely. I have access to hundreds of brands. That is a phenomenal ROI. So congrats to you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
So one thing you mentioned, your target market. Who is your target market?
Right. It's that younger millennial Gen Z is our main demographic, right? So it's consisted of just that younger people that really like the aesthetic. We're utilizing that eye-catching advertising content that they really tend to be drawn towards, right? Through TikTok and Instagram and Facebook as well. So they make up the main demographic, right? We try to stay as gender neutral as possible, but it tends to be a little more women that do come in the store. But we always try to make sure that the aesthetic of the store and everything we do, everyone can feel comfortable coming in. We don't want it to feel like too much of a certain experience, but it is that younger demographic that is our main target, right? Which is great because then they also want to work there, right? So our main demographic, they really like the store, but that's the age that we would hire as well. So we don't really come a lot of issues with labor with that, right? We pay well and we have applications every single day, so that helps with that part, right? And of course, we do have a lot of families that come in, right? Because there's a drink for everyone, right? The mom can get a signature latte, and the dad can get a shake or whatever, and the kids love the strawberry lemonade or a shake as well, right? So there's always an option for anyone at any time of the day, right? And I feel like that's a bit of our specialty as well, right? You take a traditional coffee shop, right? They're busy in the morning and they're slow at night, and vice versa. An ice cream shop, a sweet shop, slow in the morning, busy at night. Well, with our offering, our variety of products, there's always a reason to come in, right? Whether it's in the morning or night. We do tend to be busier as the day goes on, but still with our offering, it lets us be open a little bit earlier and get those people in for that morning coffee, right? And
So
we
what,
feel like, go ahead.
I'm sorry. So what are your hours on,
Right.
Monday through Sunday? What are the traditional hours for Candy Cloud?
Yeah. So Sunday through Thursday, we're open 9 a.m. till 10 p.m. And then Fridays and Saturdays, it's 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. Right. So pretty long hours, right? Most of the days we're open at least 13 hours, and weekends is 14. So, and a lot of the places in the suburbs, we're looking to have them open till midnight. So a very, very long day, I guess you could say. An ice cream shop wouldn't open till noon or 1. Coffee shop usually opens 5 a.m. till 3 p.m. So there's a lot of time to get those customers in the door.
Absolutely. So let's break down the business model a little bit. What type of square footage are you looking for a traditional location, and how many employees?
Right. So our store is currently around 1,400 square feet, and it's pretty tight. So we want our stores to be, we can do 1,400, but 1,800 is the max too, right? So if you get above 1,800, we would potentially approve that, right? There just would be more seating, your rent would be higher, all of that. There's not a strong benefit to going above 1,800, but we feel like that sweet spot is around 1,600 square feet. So those usually tend to be like those deeper models, right? Not as wide, but pretty deep. But we have the drawings for that, and we feel pretty comfortable with that setup, right? And that is for the traditional model. Once we start kind of getting into those end cap drive-throughs, right? Because currently, we're not a drive-through, we're walk-in only, or pickup or curbside. Kind of bridges that gap, but not fully. Those will need a little more square footage.
Is the drive-through an ideal footprint for your future locations?
I would say it's not required. I
Mhm.
mean, as you see, our numbers are pretty strong without it. We know, though, that those drive-throughs are going to drive even more, right? Lets us be open a little bit earlier as well to catch that morning crowd on the way to work. Once they want to grab a coffee, they don't want to walk in. They just want to drive through, keep going, be on their way. So I do feel like that is the future, but also I don't want to discredit the storefront model as well, right? The storefront model lets you be extremely flexible in location because, I mean, let's face it, end caps are really hard to come across, right? So lets your overhead be a little bit less because end caps have a higher rent rate as well. So there's benefits and negatives to both, right? It can be, a little bit more of a headache dealing with the drive-through, but you have to decide that potential for a higher sell volume is there with that. So I think we're always going to keep the storefront model around even once we go into the drive-throughs. just for certain, areas and areas where they can't find an end cap, but we know it's a really strong market. And then standalone drive-throughs we think are going to do great as well. So we have a lot of room to grow into those kind of things, right? But we really want to do it first before we start bringing it out to the franchisees. We have the end cap drive-throughs drawings done and the systems pretty much figured out, right? But we want to work out the kinks first, right? Because we know everything's gonna work perfect. The layout may need to be tweaked. So yeah, we would say those are probably about a year and a half out, so because our next big step we want to do with our corporate location is open a drive-through location. We really only want to focus on one. We don't want to have 2, 3, 4, just having to juggle those. We want to have one that's just right. It can be the showpiece, right? And the test piece where we can test new things out and make sure, it's running well, but then focus on the franchising side of things. We don't really have a large vision of growing a lot of corporate locations.
Sure. So, okay, what is the average cost of a single product?
Average cost, so if you're including like tax and everything, it's around $5.60. But if it varies a lot because of the add-ins, right? So if someone's coming and they want boba and all that, those are extra add-ins. The base price of most of our product is right around $5.
Okay, so these can all really be customized to fit a guest's needs.
Yeah, so our menu looks small when you take it at a glance, but if you really dive into the options, it's very modular on how you can change out how you want the drink, right? So we didn't want it to get crazy like Starbucks with their customization, but we know everybody's going to want something a little bit different. So as you click the items, you can change it a lot just to meet your specific wants, So for example, if someone clicks a Reviver for us, we have 3 different flavor Revivers, 2 of them being skinny, so they only have 15 calories. And a Reviver for us is our take on an energy drink, right? But then you can select your base with it. It can be water or lemonade or sparkling water. And you can add that popping boba to it, or you can make it blended to make it sort of like a smoothie almost, right? So there's a lot of ways to change it, a lot of ways to try a different take on each drink. So each time you come in, if you found your favorite, that's great. You can get your favorite, but also you can try that in a different style, right? So with the self-ordering kiosk, the app, all of that really allows us to do that. When you walk into a traditional coffee shop, drink shop, you're looking at this menu and it's a lot of options. But if you really break it down, those lots of options are just tiny little variations of each. We've kind of taken those and built it underneath them. And you really can't do that with a traditional style menu, but that self-ordering kiosk, that app, all of that has let us do that. And makes things less confusing, less daunting, and very simple.
So your concept, and have you ever been into a crumble cookie before?
Oh, yeah. You
Okay.
kidding me?
So so it's the customer experience is similar to that. I would envision where you walk in, you have a couple kiosks where the guest can order and customize what they want, pay at the kiosk, process their order, and then your name is called and you receive your product. Would that be
I would say
your assumption?
Yeah, that is a very fair assumption. I would say, well, first of all, Crumble's done a great job, and there's someone to definitely look up to in the franchising industry. But yes, in the sense of the self-ordering kiosk, it is a bit of a same experience on some level. Aesthetically, a crumble cookie is very sterile feeling, which is great for a food environment, but we go for more of that warm aesthetic feeling with coziness and all of that. But yeah, the same kind of vibe with walking in, ordering on a self-ordering kiosk, and then they call your name for your order is a very fair assumption to think how the overall ordering experience goes at Candy Cloud.
Well, and just looking at your website alone, the aesthetics come through, the warm, the cozy, and it's phenomenal. So let me ask you this. One statistic I heard in some of your material is that you strive to get your guests their order within 3 minutes.
Yes. 2 to 3 minutes is always the goal, right? If it's a weekend and we get a 30 drink order, it's not going to be 2 to 3 minutes, right? But the standard across the board is 2 to 3 minutes, right? So as soon as they're putting that in, it populates to our KDS back there and they're ready to make it quickly, right? So we kind of think of ourselves as a quick service or a fast service, fast casual environment. So you look at places like Chipotle, they make their stuff real right in the back. Everything's fresh, but it's ready to be dispensed quickly. And that's why Chipotle is able to get you in and out so quickly. And we do the same thing to a certain tune, right? Everything's in dispensers, ready to go very quickly so that they can fulfill those orders as fast as possible. And we know that's really key with not just our storefront model, but also when we go into the drive-through model, because people are looking for that fast ordering and they expect speed. And but they also expect quality in this day and age. So we've been able to offer speed, but not sacrifice that quality, right? We're not just reconstituting powders and with some hot water or whatever, like most traditional boba shops do. There's a time and a place for that sort of thing for certain stuff, but overall, all of our stuff is fresh and ready to be dispensed quickly. And that's why we have one size as well. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. One size is really important. That's one 16 ounce. 60 ounce is the most standard order size drink, right? And leads to less confusion with our workers, right? Because you could have all these different menu items, but then you have these different sizes with different recipes to make those drinks. When you have one size, it lets us be hyper focused. And anytime you can really focus like that, it lets you move quicker because you don't have to think. You just do it, right?
Absolutely. So these come in cans per se, but they're clear. And
Correct.
which is a beautiful to be able to see your drink. And I mean, they're beautiful just looking at your website. So the top of it is actually, is it like a can you pop and then you put a straw in that or drink it as
Right.
a soda?
Yeah. Yeah, you're exactly right. So it does start as clear without a lid. And they make it like a traditional shop would. Every order, we place a sticker on it and we make it to the tune of what they ordered. And then we finish by sealing it off with that aluminum style lid and hand it to the customer. So that really makes it great for to go. Even think DoorDash, your drink hasn't been tampered with because there's no way to get in that drink other than popping that can lid open. So there's a lot of advantages to it, not just aesthetically, but aesthetics is huge with it too. We know, everyone wants to see their drink. They don't want it to be in some styrofoam cup and all that. It lets us, really get creative with aesthetics, and everybody wants to just take a picture with it, right? They order it. We see most people either taking a picture underneath the Candy Cloud sign inside the store or walking out and they're taking a picture in front of the sign outside. So it's just free advertising really at that point.
It's very Instagram worthy. That's for
Right.
sure. So, so let me ask you about your gifting program. So,
Yeah.
and this, I guess, would drive to another question about the shelf life. So these do come in cans. What
Sure.
would the traditional shelf life be if I wanted to come in and get my favorite drink for, like, say, for the week?
Sure. So that is a common question. And I know the cans can allude to the illusion of, shelf stability. Everything is made fresh to order with ice or real milk and all of that. So it's meant to be consumed immediately, right? So just like any other place, it can be drank immediately. Now, is there people that get it and they put it on ice and they driving 2 hours away or to some event, they grab like 12 or 20 or whatever, and they want to bring it all there? Yeah, they do that. And our recipes are a little strong and made to melt down a little bit and still taste well, right, with that ice. But going past a few hours really is not advised, right? I mean, once we sell it, it's up to the customer, but we sell it for immediate consumption.
All right. And then share a little bit about your gifting program.
So the gift cards and all that. Yeah. So customers are able to purchase gift cards online through our website or through the app or in store. And they're redeemable through the app, so you can see your total balance, or through the website ordering program. The app and that are interchangeable. So you create a login with that through your phone number, and that tracks your loyalty. So our loyalty is pretty big, right? It lets us advertise to them and collect their phone numbers, their emails, and send them new release notifications and all of that. But every dollar they spend, they get a point. So every 50 points, they get $5. So that's something that a lot of our customers utilize. And it's really important to us because they do get a sense of loyalty to that. They want to spend the more money to get that free item, right? Get $5 off their order. So it helps us in multiple ways, but the biggest advantage is that being able to advertise to them through that phone number or email.
Yeah, people love their reward programs, and
Yeah.
I'm one of them. So,
And we want it to be clear, we don't want it to be like, a lot of them are very confusing. Like they have a bunch of points per dollar spent. It's like, what am I really getting out of these points and all these different options? It's if you spend $50, essentially you get $5. And, we want it to be worth it. We didn't want it to be something that people are like, what is even the point of this? Why would I even sign up? Right. So
absolutely.
we felt that was pretty important with it.
I like it. All right. So, getting into the investment level, your total investment for a single location is between 320,000 and 499,000. And again, with any brick and mortar, the biggest variable there is going to be real estate.
Correct.
So, franchise fee is 40,000, royalty is 6%, which is relatively low. I mean,
Right.
when I work with prospects, I tell them, 6 to 8% is somewhat the average, and we see outliers, but in essence, a pretty low royalty there with a 2% national ad contribution.
Okay.
And again, corporate financials for your Rockford, Illinois location so this was from, I believe yours was from March 2022 to March 2023. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Was 1.6 million gross, 400,000 net profit. So you have awarded, since your introduction of the franchise system, you now have awarded 2 locations, which are in Illinois, in the Chicagoland area. Your first location, the goal you're targeting for that first franchisee is August of 2023,
Is the
which
goal.
is
Yes.
fantastic. So let me ask you this on a last note. Who is your ideal investor? Who are you looking to partner with, Alex?
That's a great question. Overall, we're really looking for people that are system believers and they can follow a trust and true system, right? And their attention to detail is huge, right? So in the restaurant food industry, you have to be able to be very clean and also very people oriented, because realistically, we understand you are managing people. Like that is a huge part of the job, is managing younger personnel, being able to communicate with them clearly, motivate them, and really be able to tell like what's going on, right? So if you're not able to constantly be able to tweak things and pay attention to those little details, because those add up, right? And make sure that standards are being withheld with cleanliness. So that's our 2 main focusing points, right? Is customer service and cleanliness, right? The drinks are extremely important, but if that customer doesn't feel happy when they're coming in, like they're welcome, like they're truly treated like a guest, they're not going to come back, right? So we really look up to those business models such as Chick-fil-A or Dutch Brothers, who are aggressively great with their customer service, right? And if the leader of that store isn't that oriented, the troops won't be either, right? So that's extremely important to us. We also really like husband-wife combo teams. Obviously, that's how we grew Candy Cloud, and we know it takes 2 in a unified household to really make this happen. So that's really important to us as well, right? Is 2 people that are really wanting to do this and make it work no matter which way. And you got to have someone that you can bounce ideas off of and really in when you're getting a little crazy, right? My wife does that to me. So if I didn't have my wife guiding me and helping me on certain things, I wouldn't be as successful as I am, right? So, and vice versa, right? So you got to have someone to balance yourself out. But really, it's that attention to detail and people orientation, right? So that's going to be a lot of what you're doing is managing staff and talking to personnel and handling potential customer conflicts or whatever. So people skills is important. So
So, and I think one important takeaway there is you did not mention food and beverage experience. So, as nice
Yeah,
as it would be, and that's the beauty of the franchise model is you have the systems, the processes, the training, and so forth in place.
yeah,
And you yourself did not come from a food and beverage background.
correct.
So, well, Alex, thank you so much for your time today. I so
Of course,
appreciate it. For
my
anybody,
pleasure.
yeah. So for anybody that is interested in learning more about Candy Cloud,
Yeah.
please feel free to reach out to me at Stacie at fusionfranchising.com. And Alex, I wish you and Paityn the best, and I hope to bring some fabulous clients your way soon.
Yeah, thank you so much. Super happy to be here and excited to talk to any future people that are interested.
Awesome. Well, you have a great day. Thank you so much.
Yes. You as well, Stacie.
All right.